This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the very latest news and interviews from within the Big Red Machine.
Very proud that Starcast is now old enough to vote and drink its 18th episode for your Billingham Stars podcast. A very warm welcome to this official podcast of your Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. Craig and Carol and Jono. Same as last week, one of us is not where they are normally. Yes, you've guessed it. Jono is in Seaton Carew. Welcome, Jono and Carol. All good?
Yeah, things are going great. Can't deny it. Things are wonderful at the moment.
Yeah. You see the power station at Seaton Carew from there? Yeah, it's looking nice.
Yeah, it looks dazzling.
Fantastic. Usual fare, no guest again this week. We'll pick up again in the new year. But plenty to talk about for your Billingham Stars. We have a game to review from last weekend, and then because of the way things are working with timings and Christmas and things like that, we'll be looking ahead to the D-side game and the Whitley doubleheader as well, as well as the usual results and tables and any other business later on in the game. So we'll start on Saturday, a very early start on Saturday in Nottingham. The only game for the Billingham Stars on the main arena pad as well for the Nottingham Lions versus Billingham Stars. I say earlier, possibly wasn't as early as it could have been, should have been, but more on that another time perhaps. But in the end, a flued up, battle weary, however you want to describe it, we'll talk about that in a second. Billingham Stars win by 3-2, overturning a 2-0 first period deficit. Mather and Crowston for Nottingham, before Mikey Elder on the power play, Tommy Spraggan with a coast to coast, and Joe Walls with a blue line blaster, and that was your result. 3 goals on 23 shots for the Stars, 2 on 30 for the Nottingham Lions, and Stars take the 3 points home with them on Saturday afternoon. Let's see who can start this one. One of us was there, 2 of us weren't. So, Miss Carol, would you care to start? We mentioned in the bit intro there, it was, I think Fuzzy alluded to it after the Blackburn doubleheader. There was a lot of players under the weather, to say the least. That kind of continued into this weekend, and we iced a bare bones of a squad, but still managed to do enough just to get the points.
Yeah. By the way, that lurgy extends to me. It extends to other off-ice officials. Our physio didn't travel. Yeah, we're properly flued up in the northeast. And if we had lost the game, I'm sure that there are fans of other teams who would be looking at us with excuses and saying, "Oh, it's just an excuse." But 100%, I would have been using that excuse because I don't know if we'll be putting the post game interview that I did with Foz out, but we did talk about how, from a performance point of view, in terms of performance from the players in the state and the situation we were in, that might have been the performance of the year so far.
Yeah.
Just purely because I reckon there was maybe 5 fit and healthy people in that dressing room. I mean, we travelled with 14 plus 2 anyway, which is short. But of those 14 skaters, there wasn't 14 fit bodies there, I'm afraid. So it was a battle. It was a battle from start to finish. And I did message, I think it might have even been John, or I did message somebody at some point anyway, say, I think we might lose this one just because of the whole situation. Everything seemed to be going the wrong way anyway. You alluded to the face-off time that wasn't. One of the officials didn't turn up in time because of face-off time confusion. Everything just seemed to be. It seemed to be one of those days, put it that way. So I was fully expecting that to continue to be a reverse result, but I can't tell you how proud I am of the lads for pulling that one out of the bag, because it must have taken it out of every single one of them to pull that one back out of the bag, because it was a phenomenal effort. In terms of quality, it certainly wasn't the best game that we're going to see this season, but in terms of sheer grit and determination to get something out of that game, yeah, it was a performance.
Yeah, so James Mather for Nottingham inside 5 minutes, and then 15 minutes Jack Croston makes it 2-0, and it was 2-0 end of first. Second period, full complement of officials for period 2 onwards. A power play goal, Mikey Elder unassisted. And then do you want to talk us through Tommy's, Carol? Because the social media feed described it as a effing great goal. So would you care to expand, or does that kind of...
I think we've all seen Tommy do this kind of rush from D multiple times this season. It's just this time he finished it off, and it was I think with it being on the big pad as well, and in that arena, it just looked superb. Yeah, it was a really good goal. But having said that, and again, I did touch on this with Foz post game, the other 2 goals were pretty as well. I mean, Mikey Elder just made their D look static for his power play goal. Just went through them, nice and pretty, flicked it over the keeper and at the roof of the net on the backhand. Beautiful goal. Yeah. And Jaws was a really nice shot through traffic. At first I thought maybe Lucas had got a tip on it, but no, it was straight through. And but Tommy's was definitely the crowning moment for me. And obviously with it being the equalising goal, it seemed to be the tide turner as well.
Jono, from your coastal vantage point, when you were getting messages and getting the info, what were you hearing, what were you knowing about what was going on in Nottingham?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the easiest, let's put it that sure. I mean, granted, yeah, it was 30 degrees and I had a drink in my hand, but as the messages are filtering through, so-and-so's ill, so-and-so player's missing, and you start getting the dread of face-off times, now not this time, ice is not available till this time. And as Carol alluded to there, like, this is not going to be our day. Things keep changing. Changing. Obviously, Fee's relaying messages back to me. I'm relaying them back to her. The first goal goes in. The second goal goes in. And you just think, it's all right. Just keep calm. Michael Elder's our captain. And I think I said to Fee, I said, don't worry. Mikey, he'll get us through this. He'll come up with something. And then lo and behold, he pulls up with a power play goal. And I think when a captain stands up like that, the rest follow. And I think I put it in a private group that we have for the Stars, just character, and that's all you can say about these guys. They trust each other, they believe in each other, and no matter what the situation is they've got each other's back, and that even counts when lads are ill. And like I say, a huge character win, and it can be just as big as a 9-0 win against Blackburn, these sort of things. On the road as well, so even worse. They've all got to travel back feeling the way they do. They've all emptied the tanks out on a huge ice at the arena. But yeah, I can't say anything more other than character.
Yeah, and that's something that we've mentioned before. This group's been together, the vast majority of them been together for a number of years now, and obviously adding little pieces as the time goes on. But pretty much since they came back from COVID in 21, 22, it's kind of getting those young players in and getting them the experience, and then they're kind of grown up with the squad over the last couple of seasons as well. And that's the kind of performances you probably get with a club that's grown together like that. You do get the one for all and kind of battling for each other. And it's one of Fozzie's favourite lines is everybody pulls on the same rope, and you just get through it. And like you say, when I was getting the updates myself as well, I was in Sheffield with JB, and let's see, getting the messages, it's 1-0, 2-0, same as Jono, but then Mikey scored, and then Tommy scored an equaliser, and then it's like, and Joe Walsey, and you're like, obviously you don't feel it the way that the guys did, and I probably felt it 10 times better than the guys felt, to be honest. But the emotion and the pulling together is just something that's been grown, and it's the kind of ethos that they've tried to develop, which is great to see. And you get results like that and performances like that, Carol.
Yeah, I think Foz nailed it post game, we were talking about how it had been such a massive result against Blackburn that if we'd lost against the Lions, not only had we lost all the momentum that Blackburn result had given us, but also it kind of been for nothing. We would have given that advantage back. And I think you're right, when a group's been together that long, and it all means so much to the players as a group, you find it from somewhere. You find a way to get back into a game that possibly you had no right to get back into.
Getting dark on the screen.
I think from a performance point of view, the two teams were fairly evenly matched on the day. I don't think there was any particular difference in quality, but it was just all grit, all pulling it out from your boots and putting it all out there and fighting for your team, battling for your team, all about the Billingham Stars and not about the name on the back.
Yeah. I just lost my sound for a minute there, but yeah, we've got that. Thank you. I mean, looking at the stats, it was 2 power plays each. Stars 1 for 2. Killed both of the Lions. Shots, as I said at the top, 30-23. But I think a lot of that was the first period when they kind of dominated 12-7. So fairly even, and 3 points is the main thing. And it was a cup game as well, as I think we said the last couple of ones. It's I think the first cup game since the end of September. I think we did a couple of cup games early doors, and then so we are joint top of the cup group, which we'll mention later. Anything else on Nottingham before we kind of leave it there? It's we'll get Fuzz's interview on Big Machine Radio either tonight or in the morning. I'll getting caught up on things after I've come back from being away. So we'll get that interview up, and so people can hear Fuzz's thoughts. As Carol says on the character win for the guys, but a great comeback win, and 3 points is the important thing in the league and in the cup, and it keeps that momentum going on ahead of games to come, which we will shortly talk about. We'll leave the review of last weekend there then, and we will start with the results from last weekend. We'll look at the results as a whole from across the NIHL North Division 1. And we'll go with just 3 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. Nottingham 2, Billingham 3, as we know about. Hull 3, D-side 7, another home defeat for the Hull Jets. It's just not happening at the Chip Spice for the Hull Jets this year. And then the late game on Saturday night was actually at the Ice Sheffield after the GB tournament had finished for the day. Sheffield and Widnes, and a big win for the Widnes Wild, which can close their way back towards the playoff places at the bottom of the division, which we'll see. So that's a big 4-1 win for Widnes at Sheffield. And then Sunday, we'll have a look at the box score on this one in a second. But Solihull 15 and the Leeds Knights 3. So they obviously forgot to bring a goalie by the sounds of it. Blackburn 7, Widnes 1, and Nottingham back on home ice on the CCM rink. They win the local derby 8-1 over the Sheffield Scimitars, and they kind of balance their weekend out. That Solihull game, I don't know if anybody's had a look at the box scores and what have you. Dan Mulcahy, 6 goals, 2 assists. Hashtag best player in the NIHL, Nicholas Otterson, 1 goal, 6 assists. So only 7 points in a 15-goal game. But yeah, so I'm just checking who Leeds Knights had actually in net. Dan Norton and James Adamson. So I think it's one of the 19s. James Adamson. Dan Norton, I think, was the one who played at our place that year. Was he? 40 shots after 2 periods. They finished with 65 shots in total, 27 the other way. And Graham Laverick making a comeback to action as well. So yeah, so Solihull putting some wins together but then when the chips were down, they didn't quite do it against us. So we'll see what they do for the rest of the season. Any other scores catching your eyes from either home or abroad?
I think the Widnes result's quite a big one. especially with Sheffield losing both games. It might drag that 8th spot, final playoff spot into a bit of a fight if winners can build on that momentum. I know they got beat the following night by Blackburn, but not many teams will go there and win this season.
Mm-hmm. Carol?
I was just about to say I think that the Hull Jets are mighty at home myth is gone for the for the foreseeable future, because they were pretty much untouchable last season and this season. I haven't looked at the home and away stats. I really should have checked that, but I wouldn't like to think Hull Jets is that pretty this year. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know whether other teams have figured them out or or they've somehow lost the chemistry that they undoubtedly had last season. But this year, Hull is no longer fortress.
No. Well, we've got courtesy of NIHL stats and Joe Scott. We've got the box scores and everything, so I can tell you the home and away split. Hull have 6 wins and 6 losses at home, and they have 7 wins and 2 losses on the road. So it's a complete reverse of last year.
Yeah, I think they lost 3 league games all season long at home last year. So a big turnaround in form for them. And I don't know, maybe the start of the season that they had this year kind of put a bit of pressure on them. And then obviously we went there and absolutely humiliated them, and they haven't been the same since. But yeah, and obviously they haven't replaced Cohen Taylor either, who stepped up full time. So I think they could find it difficult for the rest of the season. But then also, I think it's still a tough place to go for some teams as well. I think if the Hull Jets can turn it on, they will surprise you.
Yeah. Yeah, so they've actually got a better away record than we have. But yeah, go figure. This sport's mental, just go figure. So that's the league. So look at the league tables. We've got the we have the technology, as they say. I'll bring on the league tables. Here we go. So there's the full league table. Stars still with that 9-point gap, 17-3 over the Hawks, 14-5, and D side 13-6. They're in 3rd place. Solihull up to 4th. Hull in 5th. Whitley in 6th. They had some other fixtures this weekend. Nottingham 7th. Leeds 8th. And Sheffield 9th. Widnes 10. But at 8, 9, 10, as John alluded, is now just a 1-win kind of difference. So Widnes up to 8 points. Sheffield 10. Leeds 13. And if Leeds keep playing as they did this weekend, they could be in danger in 8th place as well. So if any of those teams can go on a bit of a run, they can secure that 8th spot. Playoffs up for grabs. It is starting to settle a bit after the to and fro of the earlier weeks, but yeah, you've kind of got the top, middle, and bottom now. You can see in the league. What do you say?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a weird story in the middle there, because Whitley have quite a few games in hand there because they were playing the Pointless Cup at the weekend. But even so,
Stanley Cup.
Sorry, the Stanley Cup, Pointless Stanley Cup. But the kind of Whitley and Nottingham seem to be kind of marooned on their own in 6th and 7th. But everywhere else, I mean, the gap between 2nd and 5th is, nothing practically. And at the bottom, like you say, it's going to be a real dogfight between those 3. So this is going to be a really interesting running this season, really interesting. And Whitley can still add themselves back in the mix, obviously, if they make use of those games in hand. But yeah, I mean, apart from 6th and 7th, everything else, and 1st, everything else is pretty close.
Yeah. We'll look at the cup tables as well, because we do have some movement on the cup table. We'll bring our cup group up, but before we look at our cup group, the Blackburn result at the weekend means they will have top spot in Group B. So they will play the runner-up in our cup group. We will. I'm saying we'll. Look at me being presumptuous. The winners of our cup group will play the Hull Jets in the semi-final of the Morley Cup. So there's Billingham 5 wins from 5. D-side has got 1 game left, which is this Sunday against somebody, and then Whitley and Nottingham and Sheffield. So Whitley have got a couple of games left. So it's still top 3 up for grabs. As I say, first team will play the Hull Jets, second team will play the Blackburn Hawks in the semi-final, and that'll start to take shape from this coming Sunday. Anything on results and standings before we move on?
Just on the league table, I think in the league table, D-side and Solihull have become very dangerous teams for Billingham and Blackburn now. Obviously, I think have they lost too many already? I know it's tough to see, but obviously both of them are picking up form again. And if you've got to play either one of those teams anytime soon, as we do, they could certainly be a thorn in the sides moving forward.
Yeah, no, I think it's still going to be I'm just going to say even New Year, but even before the end of this year, there's still some important games to be played. So when we review the table come the end of December, it could all be up for grabs again. So we'll have to take each game as it comes, one game at a time. Just focus on the next one. All the usual cliched stuff. But that's the results and tables. And a big thank you to Joe Scott's NIHL Stats. If you want to point your browser, nihlstats.wordpress.com, and give them a follow on social as well. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a minute. We'll talk about the games to come over the next couple of weeks for your Billingham Stars in the end of 2024. And we'll finish up with any other business. This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Town Council, sponsored Billingham Stars. Welcome back to Starcast. This episode 18, the run-in to the end of 2024, and we look ahead to the next few fixtures for your Billingham Stars. Firstly, the weekend ahead, quickly the full fixture list in the NIHL North 1. Saturday, Hull Jets versus the Blackburn Hawks, and Widnes Wild versus the D-side Dragons. And then on Sunday, Solihull Barons versus Nottingham Lions. Widnes Wild versus Sheffield Scimitars. We mentioned that in the review of the league table. That's a close rivalry now. So a win for Widnes, they could be off the bottom of the division. And then the game we're all interested in on Sunday afternoon, D-side Dragons and the Billingham Stars. A 5 o'clock face-off. It is league and cup points up for grabs. And our first sighting of Jake Witkowski. Jono, you're all over the Witkowski thing. What's he going to bring, and what does he add? It's a stupid question because he's got like 120,000 points and whatever. But what does he add to these D-side Dragons?
Yeah, he's just someone new the day that he kind of makes Adam Barnes look just an average Joe in this division, and we know how good Adam Barnes is. Jake Witkowski is the real deal. His resume speaks like no other in this level of hockey. Yeah. He's a great player. He's going to score goals. He's going to create chances. But that doesn't mean that we can't mark him out in the game. If you look back over the last few weeks, he hasn't really been that massive on points. He's had quiet games where he's just coasted through them. So he is backing away from whether it's a physical game or what. I'm not sure. But he is having moments where he is quiet. And we have the defensemen in people like Tommy Spraggan and Darren Statsfield who can keep him quiet, but we do have to be very, very aware of him and obviously the other firepower as well that the Dragons have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not many Boston University alumni in the NIHL North, Carol, and building on what's happened the last couple of weeks, the roll call at training this week is going to be interesting and see who's available and who can travel and see what sort of roster goes down to D-side this weekend.
Yeah, it's we're not out of the woods by any means, unfortunately. Anybody who's tuning in from any part of Teesside is probably well aware that this bug is ripping through the area, and we've kind of been suffering with it in the squad for a few weeks now. It absolutely battered us last weekend. I'd be amazed if we're fully clear of it for this weekend. So, as you say, it'd be a case of going along to training and finding out what sort of squad we can put out on the ice on Sunday, because it's one of the toughest trips we'll make this season, even if we were all snuffle free, as it were. So it's going to be It's going to be a tricky one.
Yeah. At the other end of the ice for D-side, John, we talked about it fairly regularly when we talked about their games. They signed the netminder cover, but he's not been able to play. So again, depends who's in the pipes for D-side and whether they can get the netminder, and they'll need to get results.
Yeah, and I think it's something Stars will jump all over. It doesn't matter who's available. The Dragons concede goals at an absolute alarming rate. I think when Ross Kennedy and Jared Dickinson have both played defence in the past, they're not bothered with that anymore. They've chucked them up forward and just gone for it on goals. So we have a huge opportunity to put the pressure on the defence and on the netminder. And like I said, we don't even know which netminder hit will be this weekend, whether it be Mackrell coming in or if it's the two juniors that they're signed. But it's still a great opportunity for the Stars firepower that we have to get some pucks on goal and create some pressure.
Yeah, it's difficult to talk about the game with any sort of certainty until we know what sort of roster we're going to have going down there. But it's the kind of same story as say every week, or whoever's down there. It showed it in Nottingham. And to a degree, the Blackburn games as well. They were under the weather in the Blackburn games, and the Sunday you probably wouldn't have known it. So again, it comes back to the belief and what have you that they had. The guys can put the performance on, so it'll be a case of training well, getting as fit in as many people as possible, and sticking to what's worked for the last couple of years, Carol.
Yeah, hopefully we've all been hammering the night nurse this week as well, because let's face it, who doesn't love a little bit of night nurse when you're not feeling so good? It is all about the team at the end of the day, pulling together as a team, whoever that might be. And you're dead right, that's exactly what happened in Nottingham. Just everybody putting it on the line. I think it's good that we've only got one game this weekend, because I think 2 in the state that we're in at the minute would probably be a bit much. But at least it's only the one game. We've just got to put 60 minutes together, regardless of who it is, and hopefully put some sort of leash on Big W, and hope that we can battle the way that we did last Saturday. Yeah.
In terms of the Stars roster, then I say the illness and what have you. One player we know who isn't available, and it was known for a while. Ian's gone back to Canada for Christmas, so he's missing the D-side game. He does fly back on Boxing Day, so he will be here for the Whitley doubleheader. One thing we did mention again in the Nottingham preamble, Ian didn't score a goal or an assist, so the final number is number 19, which was a hell of a start to the season. So all it means is he has to start again on the 28th of December. But Ian out of the lineup, I say a chance for the other guys to step up, and it's that mentality they've had, John, of the next man up and taking the chances that are available when guys are missing, whether through illness, injury, or unavailability. The guys step up and cover the absences.
Absolutely, and I know Ian's been an absolute revelation this year, and he's took a huge burden on his shoulders due to his season finishing early last year due to injury, and he's come back like nobody's ever expected. I don't think the coaches, his teammates expected this level from him, but we've still got players in our roster that are equally as scary, equally as dangerous. I think Rowley's been going under the radar. He's been playing well. He's been playing solid. Hasn't have to be the standout guy that he had to be last year. He's just been going about his business. It's still around point and a half a game. Sykesy still scores goals for fun. We know how good Mossy and Elder can be. So there's still lots of scoring there, and all of them won't mind taking on the mantle of stepping up. They are the senior players as well, and they'll certainly thrive under that pressure.
Yeah. So that's 5:00 on Sunday at the D-side rink. Again, if you are travelling, travel well, travel safe, and shout loud and proud in that rink for your big red machine. Pre-Christmas trip, always a good one. Anything else on D-side before we move on to post-Christmas matters?
No, just wear a Santa hat. Be Christmassy.
Be festive. Yeah. So as we said at the top, because of dates and things working out, we'll not be able to get a pod out next week. So we'll look ahead to the a rare festive offering. Normally the NIHL North kind of shuts down right through the Christmas break, but Billingham and Whitley are putting on a festive doubleheader, 28th and 29th of December, the Saturday at the Forum, the Sunday at Hillheads, and it's 5 o'clock on both nights, 5 o'clock at the Forum, just a half hour earlier than usual. And our first competitive taste this year of the Whitley Warriors. And as we've said, as the season's gone on, they've again been fairly Jekyll and Hyde at times, and they've had the players coming back this season. Phil Eggers and Dean Hollands, and they've been doing the business for them, putting up the points, scoring the goals. But at the other end, they've also been having the reverses as well. So what can we expect from the Whitley Warriors? Carol, you can kick us off.
Do you know what? Who knows what we can expect from the Whitley Warriors, because they've not exactly been the most consistent team in the world this year. And when they've been good, they have been good, and when they've been bad, they've been absolutely awful. So it's a derby as well. There's loads of cliches that I could throw in there here about form means nothing, blah blah blah. Yeah. It's Christmas. It's the Christmas break. You don't know how that's going to affect what squads are available. It's a tricky one to kind of judge, to be quite honest. If it was normal time of year and it was normal circumstances, I'd say 2 wins for the Stars all day long. But I'm not going to say that, because I've said too much on this pod this season that's made me look stupid. So I'm not going to say that. I think if Warriors can put a 60-minute game together, then yes, they are a threat. Certainly on their own ice, which is usually terrible. So it really is kind of all up in the air. It'd be nice to see the likes of Paddy, Ryan, etc., all of our lovely stars away from home. But as for calling the games, at this point, I couldn't really call it. Like I say, normal time in normal circumstances, 2 Stars wins all day long. But in the kind of these circumstances, who knows? Yeah.
Do you know the way it's working out? We've got the Saturday home game, not a traditional Billingham home game, and traditionally, I don't know what the Billingham club's been like for games over Christmas since I can remember being there. We've always kind of just shut down for a couple of weeks and not played any games. So what do you think the kind of attendance is going to be over the weekend?
Yeah, I actually think, especially the home game, I think we will be packed out. I think fans will be buzzing for it. If you look at other fixtures up and down the country, even in the pro game, obviously Steelers sell out, the Storm sell out in the Elite League. The local football sells out, which is madness. Like the Borough sell out, and I'm talking about the lower echelons of football, like Billingham Town and Billingham St Tonia. They get huge crowds, so fans do love their Christmas sport. I don't think this will be any different. I think everyone will be looking forward to it. Like Carol said, on paper, we're the dominant side. We should give it to the Warriors big time, but it is a derby. It is Christmas. These lads aren't pros, and they will want to spend time with family. So it'll certainly be interesting to see what the rosters will be like. But Stars at full strength, the Warriors don't have a chance. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and as Carol alluded, seeing Paddy in the maroon and gold, it'll be a funny sight. But catch up with him before and or after the game, it'll be good to see him.
Yeah, it'd be great to see Paddy. Do you know what? Can we all take this opportunity to say I told you so to all the Warriors fans, because we said when he signed that it would not take long for him to change all their minds, and I think he's done that. So a big old fat we told you so to the Warriors fans. Yeah, he's slotted in really well there. Got man of the match, was it last week, I think?
Yeah.
He's doing really well. He's a absolutely lovely lad. It will be a bit weird seeing him in the maroon and gold. I don't think he'll suit it as well as red, but we'll see. We've seen before players who suit red better than maroon and gold. So it'd be good to see how he's getting on.
It's almost like we've watched him for 3 years and we know what it's like, and we could tell people what he's like. But yeah, they've certainly warmed to him, and as we knew we would. Anything else from you, Jono, on the Derby games? Like you say, we'll hopefully see the fans at both rinks get their festive hockey fix. But anything else on the ice from you?
No, it'll just be nice to see Ian come back. I think having a bit of time back home with the family over Christmas. Obviously, his streak's gone now, which personally I believe is a good thing, because obviously you can get distracted by those things. I think he'll come back with even more fire in the belly if it's possible where he's concerned, and I think he'll hit the ground running or skating for that matter in that first game back at home to the Warriors.
Yeah,
I will say on that point, I think Jono's dead right. I think that streak was affecting Ian. At the very end of the Nottingham game, we had an empty net goal opportunity, and it fell to Ian. Hands just too tight on the stick. Went about that far past the post. I think 99 times out of 100 he hits that. I think he just went, "This is my last chance to get it." And just missed. Yeah,
I think it was like the last few weeks. It has been as more people have been talking about it, and we've kind of been subtly talking about it without trying to talk about it. But as it's become more of a thing, I think it has weighed a bit out of him. But all it means now is he can start again from scratch on the 28th and start a new streak for the rest of the year. That would be nice. But yeah, so that is Saturday the 28th at the Forum Ice Arena, 5 p.m. Not the usual 5:30. 5 o'clock face-off on Saturday in Billingham, and then the usual 5 o'clock on Sunday the 29th at Hillhead's Ice Palace. That is your festive hockey fix. We'll be back in a minute with any other business to round off this final pod of the not quite New Year. We haven't kind of sorted yet, but might be. We'll see. Anyway, never mind. We'll be back in a minute with any other business to round off this 18th edition of Starcast, your official podcast of the Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. Welcome back to the final segment of Starcast here for episode 18, and it's your any other business round. We'll start with some good stuff. A couple of weeks we mentioned the Teddy Toss, our 12th annual Teddy Bear Toss was at the Blackburn home game, and if you've seen the Stars social media yesterday, the results of that Teddy Bear Toss were delivered to the local hospitals. Carol, and the usual happy, smiley kind of heart moments, and it was fantastic to see the volume of toys and gifts donated, but obviously the reaction of the kids as well from the two hospitals.
Yeah, well, I've been going to the same hospital for 12 years now, so I always do the James Cook run, and I've been seeing the same nurses for 12 years as well. And you have no idea. I can't impress upon you how grateful they are. They get other organisations in. So most famously for some years, Middlesbrough Football Club used to go in with players to do signings and photo calls and what have you. But for whatever reason, that's not happened for the last few years. Other organisations come in. We actually saw the Blood Bikes organisation in dressed up as Santa while we were there, giving selection boxes out. So the kids had a pretty bumper morning while we were there. But the staff at James Cook genuinely look forward to us coming in every year, because they know that it's not something that, like, if it was Middlesbrough Football Club, it's that they send their PR team out to go and buy some toys and bring them in. They know that it's our fans who have taken the time to go and buy a gift for a child in hospital, and that means so much to the staff to be able to say to the parents that this is donations, this is people wanting to extend some joy and some smiles to the kids. at Christmas. And it's an absolute privilege to be able to walk around those wards and just talk to the parents, talk to the kids. The kids love seeing the players. Most of them have never seen, an ice hockey game in their lives, but they still love engaging with the players and talking to them and asking them how they got on yesterday and that sort of thing. I can't stop smiling when I talk about it because it is lovely. It's genuinely my favourite day of the year. Absolutely love it. And once again, I said this in last week's podcast, but thank you so much to everybody who brought in a gift or a bear. And if I could tell you how much they were appreciated and how much joy they brought on Sunday, I hope I'm conveying some of that via this podcast, because it's a wonderful thing that we do, and it's wonderful to see people engaging with it on social media, just to know that they've played their part in something lovely at Christmas.
Yeah, not 100%. And if you haven't already seen it, would encourage you to go to the Billingham Stars Facebook page. There's a full gallery there of all the images from the two hospitals with the players. And John, I think you and I both commented pretty much the same, how it was the players do the club proud, but the fans and the supporters club there representing the fans as well. The club just does care about their community, and this is a very visible part of that.
Absolutely, and the club kind of isn't anything without its community. The lads go out and put a performance in it every week for very little, and the club asks for a kind donation from the community, so we can hand it out to the less fortunate who are stuck in hospital over Christmas. I mean, they're not the nicest places at the best of times, but to be at Christmas at a magical time of the year can't be any easy. And it's just great to see that the community responds to the club and the club responds to the community, and hopefully as the years go, the connection and the partnership gets stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And as Carol says, going to the same hospitals year on year, you do build those relationships. So we're already looking forward to Teddy Toss 13 next December. But yeah, certainly check out those on Billingham Stars Facebook page, and have a look at the images of the players, I say, and the wards and the children and the parents. It is a genuine heartwarming moment. Talking of the supporters club, Jono, you might be in warmer parts, even though it's like the darkest part of the end of the world where you are now, by the looks of it. But
the sun is well and truly settled.
Yes, a bit of
support. So at all things sports club, everything is. Everything's still going. Everything's still going mental. If you still need stuff, just drop us a message on the supporters club. But as for your raffle tickets, if you want some and you need some, get them now. The draw is on Saturday. So to win it or to win anything, you've got to be in it. So get message in the supporters club. We can sort you out, and we'll get you all sorted ready for Saturday for the big draw. But yeah, even with other bits and bobs that you still want for Christmas, get in touch. Myself, Kay, Carol, Fee, Yvonne, any one of us, the official account, and we'll sort you out and we'll do our best for you.
You'll even bring the tickets from Seton Carew where you are now. It's very, very good of you.
Absolutely, yep. I'll bring a nice chilly Seton Carew ticket as well.
No, that's fab. So yeah, have a look on the supporters club socials ahead of this weekend. We mentioned supporters and social media a couple of weeks ago. Another disappointing example this weekend. Carol, I know you wanted to just have a little word.
Yeah, I do want a little tiny rant, because if I ever saw something like this from one of our supporters, I'd be incredibly disappointed. But going onto social media and posting about an individual player's performance being the worst that you've ever seen in all your time watching hockey is absolutely disgusting. I'm glad to see that it was called out. If people don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, this was a Whitley Warriors from the Pointless Cup that they played at the weekend. I was disgusted. I was surprised that it was allowed to stay up as a post. I was kind of glad to see some of some of the Warriors fans shout this guy down. But make no mistake, he had an agenda. He has links with a player who plays in the same position. So 100% he had an agenda. But that's something that I do not like to see. We don't see it usually, thank goodness. But calling out one player on social media is not acceptable. And I would hope not to see something like that again. And if that player or his entourage are involved in any way in the Winter Classic after Christmas, let's see what transpires, but not acceptable behaviour. I'm quite happy to call that out publicly. Not acceptable. Grow up.
Yeah, and as I've said before, the social media in hockey is such a kind of divisive thing. There's so many good things. I saw that the teddy toss is a prime example of one side of it, and then the other side of it with this and fans, I say, on their own team's back or getting on each other, and the banners on the wall. I don't know if you listen to Anthony every week.
Yep.
But he's got a golden rule, and it's quite simple. DBAD. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
It's a fairly low bar, really, to live by, in life, but particularly on social media. And if you can't get over that low bar, then delete your account, turn your phone off, and throw it in the river, because it's not a good thing to do. We should have done the teddy bear toss now, because then you want to just finish on a big high.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
I needed a rant.
It's quite right too.
We didn't mention the Pointless Cup result. Sorry, Stanley Cup result. But apparently it was justice for the bin. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but I definitely saw it on social. Something about a bin. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Well done, Edinburgh. Anyway, the Capitals.
Well done, Edinburgh Capitals. Yes.
The Capitals won a cup, Carol. So yeah.
Yay.
So we'll see what anything transpires that. But yeah, a low bar, no social media, DBAD. No more to be said on that. If you are going to D-side on Sunday, it's a 5:00 face-off. It's a league and cup points up for grabs. Travel well, travel safe, and be loud and proud. And then we hope we can see you for the NIHL North's very own Winter Classic, the 28th and 29th of December. Saturday the 28th at the Forum Ice Arena, 5:00 face-off. Sunday the 29th at Hillhead's Ice Palace, and that's Whitley Warriors and the Billingham Stars. The Tyne derby going head-to-head and back-to-back. That's it for this edition, and certainly our post-Christmas edition. We won't be back until possibly just before the new year after the Whitley series. So what I will say is, hopefully from the club side and the supporters club have helped put something together. We hope to see that on social media. Certainly before the 25th of December would be ideal.
Well, you can't rob Ben and Flab's spotlight if they decide to do a Christmas tune.
Yeah, well, we'll have to plan better next year and get them involved somehow in any Christmas shenaniganery. But keep an eye on Star social media in the run up to Christmas. That's all I'll say about that. But from the Starcast, for myself and Carol and John, I'll not talk for you. No, I'll talk for myself, and you can talk for yourself. Have a great Christmas. Enjoy it with your friends and family, whatever you do. Enjoy it. Be safe. Be well. And we'll see you at the Forum on the 28th. Carol?
Merry Christmas. Have a great one. Hopefully Santa brings us all some league points. Yay.
And live to Seton Carew by satellite delay.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas to all from myself here in not so sunny Cape Verde anymore. The sun has set, but yeah, hopefully a full fit and well roster for Sunday, and we can head into that Christmas period on a high before those two Whitley games. Yeah,
echo that 100% off everybody. Thanks for everybody who's been watching and listening and downloading the Starcast since we started in September. Thanks for all of your support. We'll count on you from the next edition. We'll let you know on social when that will be. Thanks for listening. Keep on downloading and favoriting and sharing. Go on, Jono.
Liking, subscribing, and all that other stuff.
Yeah, you're a lot better at this than I am. It's getting awfully dark. I don't think you're going to
the lights black.
I think the lights are going out, Jono. You need to put a 50 pence in the meter. But from everybody,
I'll tell Fee that. I'll put 50p in Fee.
Sounds so wrong.
That's staying in. That's definitely staying in. He can do what she wants with that. On that note, and on that bombshell, as one television program used to say. Thanks for joining us here on Starcast. Enjoy your Christmas, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you for being part of this episode of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Remember to like and share this episode, send a review when you can, and follow us on social media for the very latest news and to find out when the next Starcast will drop.